Welcome to the top of the morning show. It's your girl TT from the D. I hope that you are ready for a beautiful day. I predict it's going to be a beautiful day ahead. You know why? Because I'm speaking it into the atmosphere. Are you aware that often we speak what we're going to deal with? We speak what we're going to encounter into the atmosphere. You ever felt like, oh, it's going to be a bad day, and then it turns into a bad day? Just like you like, oh, I feel like it's going to be a great day, and it turns into a great day. But what does that look like when you choose to speak wisely, positively? If you be like, oh, I'm stressed out. Oh my God, I'm stressed out. It's like, are you? Okay, you stressed out. Oh, my anxiety level is climbing. You're speaking life into those things. And I'm guilty of it too. Oh my God, I'm guilty of it too. But I'm learning that I've already known, but I'm learning that there really is power in words. So we have to be wise when we say certain things. Even if we feel it, we don't need to always let it escape our mouths, right? So today's topic is going to be stress and anxiety are not the same. Because they're not. I used to think they were, but I realized they're not. In honor of Mental Health Awareness Month, it's every month because we don't get a break from it. I just want to zone in on the difference between stress and anxiety. Depression, there's so many different pieces to the puzzle, but these two stand out because I think we quite often can confuse the two, or we lump them up like it's a compound, right? Stress is more like a natural part of life, right? It's like how the blood flows in our veins naturally, right? In fact, an anxious response to a stressor in our body is a way to really protect us from anger, frustration, pain, right? So we have this response in our body that's like the hands on the clock, ticking. Moving, constantly moving. They have to move. They're gonna move unless the battery is gone, right? Or dead, or dying, right? With anxiety, though, it can be generalized depending on the situation. And a lot of times there is not immediate danger. However, it can lead to danger, but it's not immediate danger. Like, for instance, you might be like, oh, I'm getting ready to go on this trip. You get ready to get on the plane, your anxiety trips. And you might be like, what does that look like? I don't know. What does that look like for you? I know for me, if I don't take Dramamine, it's a problem. It is a problem. So I get anxious actually way before it actually leaves. Who do you know gets anxious? I'm talking about days before they leave. You could have anxiety, but you're going to get anxious before, like days before? Makes no sense. And I remember feeling nauseous one time. I was getting ready to fly somewhere, and I was just so anxious, and I'm thinking like, oh my God. And it was just like I knew as I got closer to traveling, it was like, oh my God. My anxiety level was climbing. I was like, oh my God. I had to tell myself, chill. You're going to be just fine. But sometimes we can't take ourselves out of it. You might even start sweating. You might feel nauseous, like, oh, I'm going to throw up. Your heart starts racing, right? These are all symptoms of anxiety. Your sleep might get interrupted. You might feel like I'm hungry, but I can't eat, right? It can go on and on and on. But have you ever thought to yourself, how can I deal with anxiety, right? For me, I try not to think about things that's going to elevate it. And at the same time, I try to say, you've done this once or twice before and everything worked out fine. You just know, like, I don't like motion. So I'm not a roller coaster rider. I'm more like the girl that hurls the purses, the coats, the jackets while I eat and have a libation. I'm that girl. I like water rides though. I love water rides. I don't know why, because I just love water. So I love water rides, but I don't like the twists and the turns and the upside downs, and I'm not a thrill seeker like that. Sorry. All right, I'm not. But I tend to think about what the experience is going to be like, what I've already done with it, right? Some people choose to meditate. It's a good form, right? To allow your body and your mind to connect and get in a really relaxed state of mind, right? Some people say, hey, I'll take some NyQuil before I go. And I'm just using flying as an example because I know plenty of people that have anxiety with flying. I have other anxieties, but I've learned the triggers. Now, that's another way you could try to deal with coping with anxiety, I should say. Learn the triggers of whatever the situation is that's manifesting. Learn what those triggers are. What does that look like when you get to that? It's kind of like when I know I'm getting ready to go out of town, I start to think about different things. Oh, I'm going to be up in the air, and how long I'm going to be up in the air, and oh my God. But I'm like, but you already know you're doing this, so I don't know why you're tripping. What you want to do after the fact, right? We're going to move past this. We're not going to dwell on it, but we do. So we learn how to deal with things, right? And there's different mechanism tools. We're all different. There's no one, two of us the same, even though we have similar stress points or anxiety points, right? The best thing is to just kind of just relax and take it one step at a time. Even when you're dealing with panic attacks. It's easy to spiral out of control, but we want to take it one step at a time, right? And we want to learn how to tackle different levels of stress. I know work stress can be something, right? Especially because most of us spend, I want to say 6 to 12 hours a day, 5 days average a week. You spend more time in your job than you are at home with your family and your friends. So it has to be a positive atmosphere. As I've gotten older, I need positivity around me on a constant basis, especially in my workplace, right? It helps me thrive. It keeps me calm. I'm happier when there's positive energy. And then when you're stressed, it's kind of like, oh my God, you got to learn to put things into perspective. You can't zone out and just jump off the deep end. This is an inside joke. You don't want to Wakanda up out of the building. You know what I'm saying? Some people listening will get that. So you have to learn to manage your work stress like you have to manage your life stress, right? With your children, with your significant other, your spouse, whatever that looks like. You got to learn to deal with it accordingly. And it looks different for all of us. Some people say, hey, they like to just do a check-in. Some people say they like some pamper me services. Some people say, hey, I like to take a long drive. Different things. We listen to morning affirmations and meditations, gospel music, spa music, quietness. Some people rise up early, sip on their coffee, tea, or whatever they choose, and they just think quietly when the house is quiet, you know, and they just say, what am I going to do today? How is today going to go? We speak that thing into existence. So I want to remind you, there's a difference between stress and anxiety. And as we get a little deeper this month, we'll talk about that. I'm actually going to have a therapist to come on and talk about the difference between stress and anxiety. I just wanted to tap into it to give you something to think about. You can decide for yourself, is that going to be an episode that you definitely want to do a listening deep dive in. But later on tonight, let's take you to something fun. Let's take you to something more exciting. This evening for Tap In Tuesday, I'm going to have Beth in the building. I'm super excited. I always love interviewing her. I also love being a part of Team Beth, which is her team. But I love having her on the show. She's a lot of fun. She's all good vibes. Her music is just amazing. Her sound is unique. Her whole aura, I promise you, is just something, it's contagious, right? And so tonight, I'm going to ask you to log on at 8 o'clock. You can actually log on before if you like, but 8 o'clock is sufficient. By going to www.streamyard.com/Facebook, log into your account so you can listen in and watch, right? This is our live stream, and you can actually ask questions, make comments. It's going to be a great show. We're going to talk about her new music, some videos. I'll play some videos, some collaborations, who she's worked with, who she's looking to work with. She's on tour right now with Kim. They're finishing out the Soul to Soul tour. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about this coming Mother's Day, this Sunday. She's performing at the Fox Theater with two of the dopest R&B artists known to us in our era, Patti LaBelle and Gladys Knight. That has to be an amazing feeling to be able to know you're going to share the stage with these two queens. And then I want to tap in, I don't know if you know, but our lovely former First Lady, who will always be our First Lady, Michelle Obama, was in the building in D.C. where Kim performed. And when I found out that she was there and she had the opportunity to hear Kim and Beth, because Beth gets featured throughout, the tour, it was just amazing. I said, I can't wait. I was going to text her and say, what is that like? But I was like, you know what? I'll save it for the show. I want to have that first experience reveal, and I want to share it with you. So tonight at 8 o'clock, it's going all the way down. You know what to do. I'll see you soon.